lovelies, welcome back. Now we are going to get ready to do some decreasing for the crown of our hat. So I have started, what we have here to recap is we have our ribbing for the brim, we have our foundation row of triangles, we have the warm tones are my left leaning triangles and the cool tone, rectangles, and the cool tones are my right leaning rectangles. So the last round I finished was a round of left leaning rectangles. So now for our decreases, we are going to begin with a right leaning rectangle. So what I need to do first is, as per usual, pick up 6 stitches evenly along the diagonal edge. Okay, so then so we've got 1, 2, see I've got these bumps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll pick up 6 down here. So it doesn't matter which 6 stitches you pick up, just sort of keep them evenly spaced apart. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have to pick up a 6th stitch. I'm going to pick up the edge of this blue one, and I'm going to put my needle in, attach my blue yarn, and I am going to knit my way back. Whoops. 2, this is 3, 4, 5, and where's stitch number 6 is right here. Okay, so then see these blue stitches? Those are my 6 stitches. So I have 3, I still have 6 here. So now I'm going to turn, and on this first row of purls, I'm going to purl 5 and then purl 3 together. You will do the same. So here's 1, whoops. Let's pick up our dropped stitch. 2, 3, 4. Here's stitch number 5, and now we have to purl. I'm going to pull this a little bit snug because it's pretty loose. There we are. So now I'm going to purl 3 stitches together, and in this way it decreases a stitch. See? Purl 3 together. Okay, so then now I'm going to turn, and I'm going to knit back. Two, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then now for the rest of our triangle, what we're going to do is we're going to continue with our purl 5, knit 2 together until we eat up the rest of these stitches down here as per usual. So we will continue in this manner all the way around till we get back to the beginning, where the first pickup for your right leaning triangle, when you make the first row of purls back, is a purl 5, purl 3 together. And then each subsequent purl row is purl 5, purl 2 together. Okay, so we will see you back at the beginning of our round. Okay, so now we are back at the beginning, and I've done my 15 right leaning rectangles, which now are 1 stitch smaller than they were before. And so we are going to cut our yarn, add new yarn, and I'm going to pick up stitches along this edge, and then we'll make our left leaning rectangles. So since we picked up 6 stitches the last time, this time we are going to pick up 5. So every time we are decreasing 1. So on this round we pick up 5. on the following round, and they going left. Then on the following right leaning round, we'll pick up 4 and then 3. And then when there's 2, that's when we are going to thread our needle through all of the stitches and then pull it closed. Okay, getting a little ahead of ourselves. So now I've got this edge facing here, and what I want to do is I want to pick up 5 stitches along this edge and then knit them with this new yarn. Okay, so let's see here. I guess it's easier on this side. So 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 down here in the bottom. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is stitch number 5. And I'm going to grab my pinkish yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and purl into these. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're having a time. Here we go. So here's 1. And now grabbing just the working end, leave myself a little tail so I can sew it in later. And then here's 2 and 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So we have 3, 6 from the block before, and now we have 5 new stitches. Okay, so this is now what we're going to do is I'm going to knit 4 and then slip, 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 knit. So we're going to decrease 1 again for the first row of our right leaning rectangle. All first rows that you knit of your right leaning rectangles will be slip, 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 knit. And then the subsequent knitted rows will just be a regular slip, slip, knit. So when we SSK or SSK, because we're slipping 3 stitches, we slip as if to knit. So this is 1, 2, and 3 stitches that have slipped. Insert my needle into the front leg of all 3 stitches. Let's show that again. So I'll insert my needle into the front leg of all 3 stitches. And now, with my working yarn, I'm going to knit all 3 stitches together and then turn and purl back 5. So then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now we're on the second row, and on the second row of knitting, you're going to knit 4 and then slip, slip, knit, and then purl back 5, and then keep doing knit 4, slip, slip, knit, purl back 5 until you've eaten all the stitches over here. And then you'll pick up 5 stitches along this blue diagonal edge, and then the first row of knitting will be the 3 slips as if to knit, and then knit them all together. Okay, and so when we have 2 stitches left per triangle, because we're going to be decreasing 1 more each round, then I'll see you back here and we'll show how to finish up our hat. Okay, so now I just finished the round that left me with 3 stitches in each of my rectangles. So on mine, that meant it was a left leaning rectangle round. Yours, it could have been a right leaning rectangle round, doesn't matter. So this is going to be my last round of rectangles, and this will be a right leaning rectangle round. Say that 5 times fast. Okay, right leaning rectangle round. Oh my God. All right, so we're gonna pick up 2 stitches along this edge, and I cut my yarn so I could change colors. And I've got all these crazy tails going on. That'll be fun to knit in later. So here's 2 stitches along my edge. And I'm gonna put my 2 picked up stitches onto my left-hand needle. And with the new color, I'm leaving myself a very long tail so it doesn't fling out of the stitch like it did the first time we tried to film this round and then subsequently deleted. So now I'm supposed to, so I knitted one, and then I've got one picked up stitch left to knit into, but I am going to slip that along with the next 2 stitches on my left hand needle, and that will be my slip, slip, slip knit. Okay, so this is going to be slip 1, slip 2, slip 3, and then I'm putting my needle into the front of those 3 stitches, and with my working yarn, not the tail. Whoops. Let's keep our DPN in there. Yeah, and at some point I did switch to double point needles from my circular needle because my circle was getting too small. So then that's our 2 stitches. That's it, just 2 stitches this time. I've knitted them together. Now we turn, and I'm gonna purl 2. And see my tail popping out again. I'm gonna pull it tight again. Make it behave. Some people really dislike working with double point needles. I actually secretly love it because it makes me feel like some sort of knitting wizard, because I've got all these crazy pointy sticks and it looks like you're doing something very, very complicated. In actuality, I'm just knitting in a circle. So now we've got knit 1, and then for knit 2 to finish off our teeny tiny rectangle, we're gonna slip, slip, and knit these 2 stitches together. Okay, that is it. So on the next rectangle over, I've got 2 stitches here to pick up. Come on, pick these up. I should be picking them up with the left-hand needle, but instead I picked them up with the right one. And now I'm going to knit into stitch number 1, and then stitch number 2 is going to get slip, 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 and knitted. It's getting decreased as soon as I can get my needle into the front of the stinking stitch. Come on. Whoops. Come on, get in there. We've got it. Okay. Now, I'm gonna turn, and we're gonna purl 2. So here's 1 and 2. Notice your little blocks are getting really close together. So after we have gone all the way around our circle, all the way around our hat, and then slip, slip, knit. So we're going to do exactly this all the way around. And once we get back to the beginning, then we're going to cut our yarn, thread it through all of those stitches, and then pull it tight to finish off our hat. So we're going to fast forward through some knitting to get us over there. Okay, so now we have gone around for the last time. So I'm going to give myself a very long tail, just in case. And look, all I have left is this much yarn. Hooray! All right, and let me find my tapestry needle. Here's the end. And now for the fun part. Actually, the whole thing is the fun part. This is the fun part of the end part. So I thread my tapestry needle with the long, long tail. Probably I made that a little too long, but that's okay. And now I'm gonna thread my tapestry needle through all of the stitches that are left. So here's 2 here, and 2 here, here. And as I do this, you see I'm pulling the DPNs out as I go. Pulling this through. Okay. And we're gonna pull it tight at the end, so it's okay if it's loose now. Main thing is to get all the stitches onto the yarn. You see, you can slide your tapestry needle through a whole bunch of them all at one time. And then we'll pull through. And these stitches here. Okay, and then finally the last needle, we'll pull through these stitches here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, okay. And we're pulling through the last bit of stitches. And now, so see we have like a big giant hole here. This is what our hat looks like now, right? Now I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to pull this really tight as I can make it. Tight as I can make it. It's okay if it cinches and is funny like that. That's all right. So then after I've pulled this really tight, see, then I'm going to take my tapestry needle. I'm going to go back down into the middle. Pull my yarn through. I'm going to flip my hat inside out. This is all my strings from when I changed. I'll sew those in later. But now I've got this really tight. And all I've got to do is sew in my ends. And then I am done. I think it's okay. We can trim this. I was a little zealous, a little overly zealous when I made my long tail. Okay, so I want this to be very tight. So we'll pull that as tight as I can. All right, that's as tight as I can get it. And now it's just hide my ends. So just sew in my ends. And I like to zigzag it around a little bit. I don't like to tie knots really in the knitting because usually it's not necessary. Sometimes if I am joining a cotton yarn to another cotton yarn mid-project, I'll do a magic knot, but in general, you shouldn't have to tie knots in your knitting. Typically the stitches will kind of keep everything together. So we just zigzag around. And trim, and that's it. So then our first end is sewn in. So now it's just diligently sewing in the rest. And ta-da! We have a beret. Okay, and so now our hat is done. So it was ready to be washed and blocked. I recommend using a salad plate to dry your hat during the blocking process. So that means you soak it in cool water with a little bit of wool wash and just let it be for at least 20 minutes. And then when you pull it out, you roll it up in a clean towel and then smush on it and then unroll it. And then you just shove a salad plate inside so that it keeps its shape. And then you just let it air dry until it's dry. If you have any questions or comments, you can ask or leave a comment in the comment section below. You can always email us at lovelyarns@gmail.com. You can shop with us online at lovelyarns.com/shop. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and happy stitching!